okay, did you look around? No, I didn't see anybody, so who the hell's going to expect us to find us here?
Well, that's the idea.
Exactly.
The FBI guy van's all at our house, or your house, or my
house.
Do you have one? You haven't even looked. You probably have one.
I don't even care. Spying through my cell phone.
You think so?
Oh, definitely.
What makes you think that?
I just think because my phone has been on the fritz. I mean, it's cutting out, and I got all these new numbers on there that I never had before, and the whole framework and everything is just it's different.
Like it was hacked?
Yes. So I had to bring it into Sprint, and they had to reboot it.
Maybe it's all those tracking devices that you had following everybody else. Are you being used in reverse?
That could be.
Because every time you add something, like even the flashlight app, do you know that your flashlight app
is actually
the number one tracking
device? Yep.
Because like you're supposed to shut your GPS location finder off on your phone.
Correct.
And you have to shut it off in Google.
Right.
Unless you have an iPhone, and I don't have an iPhone, so I can't tell you how to do it. But it's harder in an iPhone.
Yep.
To shut off the tracking device.
And if you're
Except for no one can find me because I don't ever answer it. If you ask anybody, they're like, "What's your cell phone for?" Just to dial out.
Just to dial
out and Google stuff.
There you go.
I drop calls in my house all the time.
Well, you had a vehicle parked outside your residence last week.
It was a month ago, and that was
a month ago.
That was legit.
Okay.
Yeah, the world's worst stakeout. So 2 guys backed in, facing the road, the top of a hill where you could see them from a mile away, in a town that's unincorporated. There's not even enough people to be a town, and it's like, what are you guys doing there? They were there at 10 o'clock in the morning, and I was like, maybe they're waiting for a lawnmower.
Sure.
Because who backs in at the top of a hill? You take your life into your own hands.
Right.
Just pulling in anyway. And it's at just a building that stores a bunch of stuff for the village. And I'm like, all right, maybe they're casing the joint. But they're casing it from the back? Like, who cases a joint with their, your truck facing the place you're casing?
Here's my license plate. Please take it down.
Yeah, absolutely. And it was a personalized Illinois plate.
Okay, number one, it's Illinois and Wisconsin. That right there should be like...
Right, well, it's not that unusual, but in that spot. So, 10 o'clock I drive by, I come back at 11:30, they're still there. I leave again at 12:30, they're still there. That's a non-emergency number. I want these guys checked out. 2 hours later I come back, they're still there. They haven't moved. 2 dudes sitting in it's like a Jeep, and it's like, come on, what are you waiting for? The crosstown bus? So my brother-in-law lives right across the street, so about 5 o'clock, they're still sitting out there. He goes to get the mail, and of course completely unarmed because he's very trusting,
like us.
Yeah, we trust no one.
No one.
We don't even trust each other. That's why we don't ride together.
Well, we can't. It's too obvious.
It's like, what is it? It's like the Marine Corps. You don't put all your special ops guy on one plane unless you want to get rid of them.
Don't put all your eggs in one basket.
Yeah, like after all the guys that died in that one plane crash, that if you ask any special ops guys, none of those guys should have been on there. They don't ever put that many guys in one plane. They had to be nervous getting on that thing.
I would think because I think they knew.
They had to be like, they had to have known. They're like, really, I'm sure the thing was the other one's down, it's a mechanical failure, everybody just get on this one, but those guys had to know. It's training 101.
Like 370?
No, that's Malaysia. We're talking about
what is it, something 6, right?
SEAL Team 6.
SEAL Team 6.
Oh, that's right.
That went in and supposedly killed Osama bin Laden. A month and a half later, 13 or 14 of them accidentally die in a helicopter crash.
Yep.
And if you talk to special ops guys, they'll tell you, you never put that many special ops on one helicopter.
Right. You don't.
So those guys had to know getting on that helicopter.
Yeah. Well, not only that, but speaking of Malaysia, the 370 flight, I mean, that was another situation where there is no possible way that a corporation that has scientists and their top people all board the same plane? No. They travel separately. There's no way that they would all be on that. And who benefited from that crash or that disappearance?
Well, it was a computer chip.
No.
From new technology.
But
GPS technology.
Who owns it? Who owns it?
The Rothschilds.
The Rothschilds.
Isn't it kind of interesting that the people who knew all about GPS technology were in a plane that you can't find on GPS? I mean, seriously, you can Google my house and see what shirt I'm wearing. How do we not have a satellite that can't track where that thing went down? You know what I mean?
Well, that's the whole point. But this is once again, where they actually think they've dummied us down enough where they think that we're so stupid we're going to believe any bullshit they feed us.
Or they're
trying to pass laws to get more technology for the airports. Because that's how the X-ray machines were implemented at the airports.
Yeah, but I think the Malaysia flight, there was a bigger thing going on there.
What's the sinister thing behind the X-ray machines, other than for it to be inconvenient? I mean, seriously, like, it hasn't really stalled anybody. If they want to pull you out of, they can come get you right in the.
Oh yeah, I got pulled in Florida. We were in Pensacola, and they pulled me out of line because they said that they wiped something of mine and said that it came up with plastic explosives. And of course,
Really?
I'm traveling with Victoria Bathory, and Victoria is like looking at me like, really, like.
Can you keep the plastic
Like,
explosives at home on this
yeah,
trip?
exactly. Did you really have to travel with your
Do
arsenal?
you have C4 with you then?
Yeah, so.
It's clay, I swear.
So they literally wiped me. Like, they pulled me aside and had spread
Wanted
eagle. It no more than just wanted me. Like, they took this like
Like a reactive
sniffs,
paper?
It's a sniffer thing, yeah. And it reacts to whatever. And they found on my luggage that there was residue for plastic explosives, and I started to laugh, and I said, "Oh, possibly because I put hand lotion on before I left." I said, "Where was it? It was on the handle, and you got it on my hands."
Yeah,
So
but everybody loading that
everybody
luggage.
loading the luggage
The lady
can
at the
touch
gate,
it.
the lady.
Yes.
I mean,
Yes.
maybe you should be out in where they're loading the luggage looking for a guy with C4 instead
Well,
of.
I just thought it was funny because I'm like, a good thing we got there early. You
now
know?
I'd be nervous to get on my flight.
I'm just laughing. I'm laughing because of all the people they pulled me. You know.
Yeah.
You could have been a
Stop.
ploy. You could have been a ploy.
I was a decoy. I was a distraction so
for
something
the
else could
drug
get
people
slipped.
to come
Yeah,
through.
probably.
Well, that's not entirely without possibility either.
Anything's possible because yeah, it was a complete spectacle, and they didn't even pull me like into a room. They did it right there in front of God and everybody, which I was laughing because I find things like this just humorous. So I'm just like, and I'm like, oh, a little more to the left, and of course the guy's just like laughing at me because I'm making these comments. It's like, hey, it's been a while, you know. Sorry, it's been a while. A little more to the left. Oh, yep, right there. Okay. So, but it's like, you know, if I'm going to be entertained, everybody else is being entertained. I might as well abuse them too. So,
But what is the point? Okay, so we put all this security in,
yeah.
right? I mean, is there anybody that can prove or disprove that it has made us any safer?
No, because you know what? The three of us could walk in with burkas, and we'd walk right on through. I could have a freaking bazooka. It doesn't matter because they just go on through.
I got in with my taser at the courthouse.
You did?
Yes.
That can do a lot of
hope that
damage.
they don't come after me after I just mentioned that.
What, your admission of guilt?
Yes.
That you had a taser in the courthouse?
Oh, yes.
Do you want to spell your full name for him?
All they have to do is Google her.
She hasn't said her name. How would anybody know? They'd have to.
Well,
Facebook face recognition? That's creepy. by the
well,
way.
everybody knows Anita Meyer.
I'm like
She's-
the saint. I
she's
have
a-
many disguises.
Well, you have all these conferences that you're doing. I mean, you're speaking in front of thousands of people, so you're very recognizable. Anybody that pays attention to you, everybody knows who you are.
I'm framed. That's it.
You're done.
That's it.
Just save us a
Stick a
spot.
fork in you. You're done.
We'll all
Come
meet
and
at
get me!
We'll
Come
all
and
meet
get
at
me!
lunch together. We'll all meet at lunch together in the pokey. We're all in there.
We haven't done that yet.
What, lunch in the pokey?
Yeah, we'll call it a Scooby-Doo adventure.
We
do
pull off
think-
the mask? No, it's really
No,
the
it's
mayor.
really the
I do
Here.
think that guy at the Chinese restaurant, he was a spy.
Oh, the one that was sitting
Definitely.
behind.
Oh, yes.
Nothing better
Yeah,
than that
he-
lady at 45 Diner that day.
Oh,
That was a crazy, it's like people of Walmart moment. You heard about that? Did we talk about that?
no, fill her in. Oh
So
my
we
God.
go to we go to lunch at 45 Diner a couple months ago, spring I think it was.
Yeah.
And we got there at like 10 o'clock, and of course we were there till, you know,
Whenever.
1:30, 2 o'clock in the afternoon because our breakfast was done, everything was paid, she'd already collected the bill, and this lady sits down about noon with her, it looked like her mother and her kid who was like maybe, I don't know, 4. And they sat next to us, and we finally get up at 1:30, 2 o'clock, and we go out the door. We're standing there talking to each other outside the door for a good 5 minutes, I'd
At
say.
least 5 minutes. And that, I mean, that's a long time. 5 minutes standing outside the door after you know, exit.
So this lady peeks her head out and she's like, excuse me, and we're like, yeah, and we thought, oh, did we leave a cell phone or a purse or whatever, you know, and she's like, I don't normally do this, but, did you pay or leave a tip because, you know,
Right.
we noticed that there was nothing on the table when you left. And
We started the
Somebody
laugh.
steal your
No,
tip?
no, no,
No, we had
gave
been
her-
there
we gave
so
her the
long.
tip. Yeah, we were there forever.
Okay.
we were there at breakfast and we had paid for everything because she was drinking coffee and I had soda and it was free
Yep.
refills, so we were just kind of chilling. And this lady comes out and we look at each other, and I'm thinking the two most sarcastic people I've ever met were stunned for a minute because we were just
We
like,
were like, what the?
what is? And we look at back at her, we're like, yeah,
Like,
we
sweetheart,
paid.
we paid and we did tip her.
She's like, did you tip her?
Yes.
You know, they work hard for their money too. That's what she said.
Yes.
And,
Yes.
and
It was very sarcastic, and Pam and I were looking at each other
we're
like,
like, we're both servers. Like,
we
of all
tipped 20% plus.
I was
What the
chased out
hell?
of Country Buffet for a tip.
what do you mean for leaving one?
No, for not leaving one. The waiter ran out and demanded a tip.
Are you kidding me?
No,
Oh, fired. Out
At
of here.
Old Country Buffet?
at Old Country Buffet.
I'm gonna tip. Here's your tip. Get a different job.
That reminds me of my brother-in-law in Las Vegas telling the janitor who's bitching, he's like sweeping the sidewalk or whatever. You know, they have the street sweepers keeping everything clean. Guy's just like bitching and whatever, and Mark's like, you don't like your job, get another one. Life's too short.
Well-sounded ways on the street in Vegas.
If it's that complicated, go somewhere else.
Right, what are you doing? Make it better or shut up.
Exactly.
That goes
You're
across
not
the
really
board.
required to give a tip at those buffets.
No, I mean I do if they come and they take my plates away like in a timely manner. But if you're not doing your job, you know.
Okay, I'm not chasing anybody out the door for $2.
No.
Like, what is it? Like,
No.
what is your maximum plate charge there? Were there 16 of you, or was it just you?
Two of you and somebody else.
All right, so
So it's $2.
wow, that's
It's a lousy $2
that's
maybe.
an elusive response.
I know. It's like,
Just being some unknown nameless person who shall remain nameless. Let's focus on the $2.
oh, somebody new.
Who was it? Was it your gay boyfriend?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, he's Mr. Yes. No, he's not. There's no gay Yetis.
No, no.
Well, that's awkward. Now I have the worst
Oh,
visual in my head ever. Moving on. Yeti Boys Town? Ew! No, that can't be a thing.
No, I don't think
No,
it
the
is.
noises. Maybe that's what's going on in New Mexico.
Oh, now I get more than just visuals. I have hearing now too.
yeah.
Really
Well,
big.
why should I be the only
appreciate
one
it.
rambling around in that crazy head of mine? Let me bring you into my insanity. I like to share it. It gets lonely. Okie dokie.
Oh my gosh.
All right, no more Old Country Buffet.
No, but I do want to talk about this Bigfoot hunting. That had to be an experience.
Oh
for
yeah.
you.
It was, I think it was the Yoopers playing with us, really.
Because you heard noises, right?
Yes.
Did you see anybody else in
the?
the woods?
I
I mean, was there-
No, but it was freaky. There was this horse rocking. There was this rocking horse that was in the woods, just set by
A
itself.
child's rocking horse.
Yes, and that just kind of really creeped me out.
Really?
And we saw we heard some really weird noises,
Mm-hmm.
and it was unexplainable. Unexplainable. I can't account for
Like
it.
a rocking horse in the woods. That's.
Yeah, like, how did it get there?
That's a good question.
How far into the woods was it? How long had you been walking?
It was pretty far in there.
And there's no abandoned houses, there's no
Nope.
sheds, there's no nothing out
Nope. Pristine wilderness.
there. And a rocking horse.
Yes.
Yeah, I think I'd be a little creeped out over that.
And all the cherry trees, a major branch out of all the cherry trees was broken.
Hmm.
Really?
That's different.
Well, when you're in the woods, if you want to leave yourself a path back to where you go, that's how you mark where you went.
Yeah, but you usually bend a twig, you don't like break a big branch.
Yeah, you don't break a 2.5 inch. Well, I don't.
And why just the cherry trees? And then I also saw stuff like
I hear a song in my head.
I know, it's just like Little Rocking Horse. I know, I'm like, oh my god, I think that's a song. So the Yeti's favorite song is Black Horse and a Cherry Tree, and they just wanted some symbolism? Seems like a long way to go, but
I'm waiting for the music video.
I know, I'm like, oh, I'll have to sub that in. So how did you end up on this? No offense, but you don't strike me as much of a Sasquatch
Yeah, you don't
hunter.
look like a Sasquatch hunter to us.
I really want to see one. I mean, I've heard people say that they exist out there, you know, and people that say they have actually seen them, and I wanted to witness one for myself.
They say you smell them before you see them.
Yes, and I did smell some weird smells. It smells like wet dog, which was unexplainable. And then there was also like the branches, how they were set up, kind of like snares.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and they all seem to bear the same pattern.
Really?
Like,
Yes.
like, were you in there for a mile, or like how far in did you go?
Pretty far, pretty far. It was like up a big mountain slope.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Now, this
there was
was
like a pond in there, and then
This was in Michigan, right? You went
Yeah.
to Michigan.
Mhm.
Now, you were invited. Who was the group that you went with?
Yeah, Paul and Cindy Dittman.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, and they live right off of Ruth Lake there.
Okay. Well, Mary Sutherland went with you too, right?
Yes.
Okay.
And we also saw some really interesting things. We found what appears to be a henge.
So you found a henge. What's a henge?
Yes, a henge is like it's like Stonehenge, and it's a solar lunar calendar, and it's aligned with the solstice. And
In Michigan.
yes,
In the forest,
yes.
next to the Black Horse and the Cherry Tree.
Well, no, this is
Can't.
this is on Paul Dittman's
Property.
property,
Okay.
on his personal property, and it was very interesting because it was round. It had stones going around it, and in the center had 3 aligned stones in a row that aligned with the constellation Orion,
So
as most
offset.
henges do.
Oh, really?
Yes,
So the 3 interior stones line up with the constellation Orion.
yes.
Did not know that. Did not know that either.
Because they're offset. I mean, you would know they're Orion because they're offset at a certain degree, and I should know that, but I don't because the computer does, and I'm gonna have to. So
Really, really interesting.
did it look old? I mean, like it didn't look like somebody had put it there.
Well, it was kind of hard to see because it was kind of grown over by plants and stuff.
Okay, so yeah.
So how
it's
did they
nothing
discover
new.
it? Did they just stumble across it out on their land one day, or?
Well, Paul had suspicions that there was something there, but he wasn't quite sure, and that's why he took me out there to go take a look at it.
So what was your conclusion, that it was actually a
That
henge?
it was a henge.
So what's the significance of all these henges everywhere?
They are solar lunar calendars.
Measuring what time though? Why are we
The-
measuring time?
Well, that's a very deep subject, and that which goes into my books. And it was a very ancient calendar that is based off of prophecy,
Okay.
and which is based. And I know this is kind of foreign for a lot of people that aren't into the religious aspect of things, but it's aligned with the Hebrew holidays.
And they don't fall on the same day. Right.
No, it's the zodiac.
Right. Well, like Christmas for Christians is always December 25th. But Hebrew holidays rotate. They aren't always
Right.
October 4th,
Right.
for the sake of example.
Right.
They will be the second. Explain it to me, because I'm sure you know better
Well,
than I
well,
do.
well.
I could butcher it, or we could just let
Well,
someone who
the
knows.
zodiac is really, if you study deep into it, it's really the whole purpose of telling the story of the prophesied Messiah.
The zodiac.
Yes.
Now, doesn't it kind of go in the face of modern belief that the
It
zodiac has nothing to do with religion and shouldn't?
Yes.
That they do not coexist together.
Exactly.
But you're saying they do.
No, I'm saying that the zodiac is something completely different. It's a whole other animal
Okay.
that tells a story, an ancient story, and it falls into what is going to be coming as the New World Order.
Oh, now you've got my
Okay.
interest.
Good thing, New World Order, or bad thing, New World Order?
Well, I don't think anything can be changed. Prophecy is set in stone,
Really?
and
Literally.
So where is if it's prophecy, that means it's predetermined, right?
Mhm.
Set in stone, can't be changed.
Right.
Who set all that in stone, and how come we don't know about it?
The ancient patriarch Enoch.
Okay.
He is documented in the book of Jubilees, which is an ancient Hebrew book, and also in his book, the books of Enoch, and also in the Old Testament and the New Testament. And specifically in the book of Jubilees, it says that he was the first scribe in human history. He was the first calendar maker and the first scribe in human history. So
Okay.
he's the one who was taught, and it said he was taught this knowledge by God's appointed angel. And so that's where the zodiac comes from. And well, it started out as the henge.
Okay.
Enoch was the designer of the henge,
Okay.
which is basically based on the zodiacs, on the zodiac.
So it was a way for, once the teachings were, once everything was established in stone in prophecy,
Mm-hmm.
it was a way for Enoch to make, for the people to understand what time was coming based on prophecy.
Yes.
So it was a measure of time so that they would have a warning or an awareness of the next prophecy is coming.
Exactly.
Okay,
Yes.
so that makes sense that they're worldwide
Mm-hmm.
because people would need to know
Right. What's
worldwide
coming.
what's
Yep.
coming.
Mm-hmm.
But so the prophecy is based then on the book of Enoch, which is Jewish, or is it Sumerian, or where does it come from?
Well, it is. It's Hebrew.
Okay,
Yeah.
Okay.
so
I mean, well,
it's
Jesus quotes him. You know, in the New Testament, like the book of Enoch.
okay, so it's a
And
Hebrew.
it was cut out. The book of Enoch was cut out of the Bible, out of the Old Testament,
Correct.
because it had prophecies about the coming Messiah.
So if that book existed, say there's prophecies. Originally, we were all supposed to be warned, and people didn't want us to know what was coming next. It would make sense to destroy the henges, so you couldn't keep track of time,
Mm-hmm.
and to hide the information.
Mm-hmm.
And who would benefit from hiding that information?
Well, the elite.
And the elite is behind the New World Order.
Yes.
Now explain what your take on this New World Order that, as it relates to the henges.
Well, the fruition of the henges
Okay.
are the pyramids that we find all over the globe, because in essence they are henges.
The pyramids,
They're
yeah.
Pyramids are.
365-day calendars.
Right, they're just a 3D version of a henge.
Yes.
A more 3D version.
Like the Pyramid of Giza.
Okay.
And
But isn't there power in?
yes.
They're like batteries.
Well, they're on the ley lines.
correct.
So if you say there's a grid that goes around a globe,
Right.
take wires,
Right.
put it around, so picture a cage kind of almost around the globe like a soccer ball shape, and it's almost like that because they're pentagrams, I think, that the ley lines operate in. Once you cross a ball, they
Okay.
make like, actually, it's like the tree of life in ancient mathematics.
Mhm.
Okay.
So it does that in a 3D version. So anytime that those two ley lines intersect, the Earth creates, because it's a moving force, it
Right.
creates energy moving
Mhm.
through space. So it's a point of energy. Like you can access it just like an AC/DC wire, where your outlet is a point of energy that you can access. So that in theory, the pyramids and these henges are all like outlets. We just don't know how to plug into
them in. Yeah.
We don't know how to, the wiring is there. We just don't have the right information to make the receptor to either rejuvenate that old energy system.
Okay. Well, then that goes back to the floods, the ancient flood
Mhm.
that wiped everything out. Is that where we lost our technology? We lost our
Right.
knowledge.
That's what I think. What happened was that the pyramids were affecting the environment and the natural health of the planet. It had something to do with the frequency, and there was corruption. It talks about the giants and how they came and interbred with earth women and how they corrupted
we need
the
Mary
human
Sutherland
genome.
for this.
The human genome.
Yeah.
Was that intentional
And-
though? So they corrupted the human genome intentionally.
Yes, and so the creator came down and made a flood and covered and destroyed everything, all that whole system, that whole pyramid system.
Okay.
So anything that happened before the flood, or anything that was alive before the flood was wiped clean.
And that's why we find all the pyramids are buried, and why they're deserted, like the Mexican pyramids. And they say, oh, the civilization just one day just picked up and left. But, and you know, they keep saying this, that's a scenario that they have, or there was a war that broke out or something, but...
Or a disease that
Yes.
wiped them out or something.
But
yeah.
I think it was a worldwide flood. It just came and boy, this is getting deep. I don't know if I'm getting all the details
Do you
here.
want some more wine?
Some more wine.
I'm
Drink
gonna
Enoch.
lose it. I'm gonna.
She's gonna drink.
All right,
some
we're
Enoch.
good. Drink
We're good.
Enoch.
That's right. I'll just give you half a glass.
Oh
So
my
I was
gosh.
saying-
You're good. You're good for the remainder of
This is gonna be a big blur.
Just checking. Make sure Jesus wasn't here and turned mine
I
into
don't know
wine.
what I'm saying.
So every religion in the world, if you study them, including like the Hopis and the native religions, the Dogon, they all have this story of the flood. And the theory is that the creator, whoever that was mad that the giants, the Nephilim, some people call them, correct? Is that right? I know for sure if I'm pronouncing that right.
The Nephilim, yeah, for laying with the human women.
Which is sort of the basis of a lot of Greek mythology in the same
Oh,
regard.
absolutely. Absolutely.
You know, how you have your demigods and all that kind of thing.
Zeus.
Right. So if all of that, I mean, the Indians have a version of it with the Ganesh and
Yep.
I can't remember all that off the top of my head. So the one thing that you would look for is if everything relates, then the truth is, I mean, statistically pretty strong that actually happened.
Well, yeah, that's like how we do all of our research. It's like you don't know what's truth, what's fact, what's fiction, but if you start reading, you know, something on this site, something on this site, something on this site, and you find this in a book, and if everything correlates and you just kind of cross-reference, the stuff that is the same is the truth, and the stuff that varies is their interpretation. So if you're digging for a fact, then you just look at all the different
All the information.
stories, all the information, and where it crosses over, and the stuff that all intersects and laps, and that's the same in every other religion or group of people or storytelling. That's what's fact. So obviously it's based off of truth, because how could a story in China be the same as something that the Hopis have?
You know what's really interesting about that? I just saw it like visually in my head. The visual of that is that wherever the truth is, there's a cross section, and that's where you find the truth. Well, the truth is power. It's just like the ley lines. Everywhere the ley lines intersect is a powerful place. So anytime that the truth intersects, you can be pretty certain that it's a power. Maybe it's not the truth, but it's certainly a powerful cross section of information that's coming together.
Right.
And they say knowledge is power. I mean, truthfully, if you were to make a physical description of that, it is actually power.
It is. It is, and the more you know, the more danger you're in.
Well, I've got an FBI guy in a van outside to bring sandwiches to. There's bananas.
That was for you.
There's some bananas.